And we're back!
Yay!
Yay! Continuing on. Soldiering through the Masters of Disguise. Henne is confident he has the right place, but doubts begin to surface when he sees the target. Probably because it's not 39 steps or something equally silly.
You think he means the black stone as the target?
Oh, maybe.
Or just when he sees the area?
I don't know. I was going with when he sees the target area, where we think the 39 steps are, but maybe it means when he sees the target that they're trying to stop. Then he's not sure if it's him.
We'll find out. This time!
This time? How exciting!
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Masters of Disguise. Not those guys, just Disguise. Monday, 15th of June, 1914, in Bradgate, Kent.
That's my favorite Kent.
It is your favorite Kent.
Holy fuck, that flag's animated.
I know, right? There's smoke.
That might have
That's
been
animated.
the first animation in the entire game.
I feel like this smoke here has happened before, but I'm not positive. You might be right.
Maybe.
Griffin Hotel? That sounds thrilling. I shall go there.
That's where Peter lives.
Heh, heh. There's a light on in the window.
Light on in 2 windows. Lens flare.
Lens flare. I didn't know this game was made by Abrams. A pink and blue June morning found me at Bradgate looking from the Griffin Hotel over a smooth sea. The lightship on the what? The lightship on the cock sands seemed the size of a bell buoy.
I'm assuming that the beach is just called cock.
It must be.
But the fact that you stumbled over a cock and it didn't fit quite well in your mouth made me laugh.
I'm not gonna touch that sentence at all. I got confused. Hold on. Okay, so I think that what it means is that they don't have anywhere to put a lighthouse, and they do have a sandbar, so they have a boat with a light on it that just sits on the sandbar. That for whatever reason is called the Cock Sands, which is just odd. A couple of miles further south, and much nearer the shore, a small destroyer was anchored, because why the hell not?
I think you found the right place. Oh, you got 2 things to click on.
The lightship on the Cock Sands seemed the size of a bell buoy.
Oh, there you go. You were right.
Scaife had been in the Navy and knew the boat. He told me her name and her commanders, so I sent off a wire to Sir Walter.
We didn't think it was worth it to tell us the name.
It was not important. Yay, I'm done. After breakfast, Scaife got from a house agent a key for the gates of the staircase on the rough. Rough. We wandered up there and looked confused. I walked with him along the sands and sat down in a nook of the cliffs while he investigated the half-dozen of them. I didn't want to be seen, but the place at this hour was quite deserted, and all the time I was on that beach I saw nothing but the seagulls.
They still sea down by the seashore.
Seashells.
Nope.
No? They just sell sea?
Yep.
That seems like a silly thing to sell when you're on the shore.
Of deeds to tracts of sea.
Tracts. Great tracts of sea.
Yes.
Interesting. It took him more than an hour to do the job. Everything depended on my guess proving right. Not left, but right.
You stole my joke.
He read aloud the number of steps on the different stairs.
There was 39 of them.
27.
34. 35. 42.
Nope.
47.
Too many.
And 21, where the cliffs get lower.
Well, that's not good.
Oh. And 39.
You got me.
Scaife, we have them.
Do we? Do we, though? We hurried back to town and sent a wire to McElliveray.
He was like, what do I need a wire for?
I wanted half-dozen men, and I directed them to divide themselves among different specified hotels. Then Scaife sent out to prospect the house at the head of the 39 steps. He never returned.
Bum, bum. Oh, God.
He dramatically came back with news that both puzzled and reassured me.
Well, what was it, man?
The house. The house was called Trafalgar Lodge and belonged to an old gentleman called Appleton, a retired stockbroker, the house agent said. Only 3 servants were kept, a cook, a parlour-maid, and a housemaid. The cook was not the gossiping kind and had pretty soon shut the door in his face, but Scaife said he was positive she knew nothing. The occupants. They were just the sort you would find in a respectable middle-class household. Mr. Appleton was there a good deal in summertime and was in residence now, had been for better part of a week. Scaife could pick up very little information about him, except that he was a decent old fellow who paid his bills regularly and was always good for a $5 at a local charity. Neighbors. Next door, there was a new house building which would give good cover for observation, and the villa on the other side was to let, and its garden was rough and shrubby.
Oh no, I actually kicked the microphone. I'm so sorry.
We are sorry about that noise that just happened. The microphone was kicked.
I kicked the microphone.
Kicked viciously.
If it helps, I did it while taking off my pants.
There you have it.
We're doing a pantsless episode.
You heard it here first. This was a no-pants episode.
They might think I'm joking. I'm not.
He's not joking. There's no pants left.
It's very sexy, though.
It's super sexy. I borrowed Scaife's telescope and before lunch went for a walk along the rough. Rough. Walk, walk, walk. Walk, 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 walk. Walk, 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 walk. Walk, walk, walk.
Look at all the walking we're doing.
Walk, 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 walk. I kept well behind the rows of villas and found a good observation point on the edge of the golf course.
The golf course where we murdered those men.
The golf course where I got hit in the head with a golf ball, because that's what happens on golf courses.
The golf course where I took 39 steps. Ah!
Hey, look at that! It's 39
I don't
steps!
see any steps. Oh, sure. That was not there a second ago.
Says you.
Man, if you were controlling this, this might almost turn into a game for a second.
Yeah, I'm not controlling this. This is just happening. But look! Animated flag! I observed someone leave the house and saunter along the cliff. I saw it was an old man wearing white flannel trousers, a blue serge jacket, and a straw hat. He carried field glasses and a newspaper. He sat down on one of the iron seats and began to read.
I'm surprised we don't have a ghost.
Sometimes he would lay down the paper and turn his glasses on the sea. He looked for a long time at the destroyer. We don't have a ghost because ghosts only show up when they're actually talking.
Huh.
I watched the elderly man for half an hour till he got up and went back to the house for his luncheon. Then I returned to the hotel for mine.
We'd get more than a ghost if he had a chest erection.
This decent commonplace dwelling was not what I had expected. The man might be the bald archaeologist of that horrible moorland farm, or he might not. He was exactly the kind of satisfied old bird you will find in every suburb and every holiday place. If you wanted a type of the perfectly harmless person, you would probably pitch on that.
I pitch on that all the time.
I'm just gonna not even respond to that
That's my
sentence.
favorite thing to pitch on.
I bet it is. I bet it is. After lunch, I perked up, for I saw the thing I had hoped for and had dreaded to miss.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, this guy isn't wearing his SS uniform. You know what? This is before that. I'll just get because the guy isn't burning an American flag doesn't mean we shouldn't go in there and arrest him after all this.
Her name was the Ariadne.
I'm gonna go with Ariadne.
Ariadne.
I guess it could be me.
Scaife said that she was a fast boat for her build and that she was pretty heavily engineered.
Yeah, she was. You know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Scaife and I went down to the harbor and hired a boatman for an afternoon's fishing.
That poor boatman's gonna die.
Just about. About 4 o'clock, I made the boatman row us round the yacht, which lay like a delicate white bird, ready at a moment to flee. The boatman didn't appreciate it. One of the men was polishing the brasswork. I spoke to him and got an answer in the soft dialect of Essex.
Polishing the brasswork is what kids call it nowadays.
Probably. Another hand that came along passed me the time of day in an unmistakable English tongue. Our boatman had an argument with one of them about the weather, and for a few minutes we lay on our oars close to the starboard bow. Then the men suddenly disregarded us and bent their heads to their work as an officer came along the deck. He was a pleasant, clean-looking young fellow, and he put a question to us about our fishing in very good English. But there could be no doubt about him. Dun dun dun. His close-cropped head and the cut of his collar and tie never came out of England. Awarded I know Germans.
Oh man,
Wow.
I was wrong. Maybe we shouldn't just start arresting people.
Wow. I know Germans. Wow. In the hotel, I met the commander of the destroyer, to whom Scaife introduced me, and with whom I had a few words. Potato, arsenic. Then I thought I would put in an hour or two watching Trafalgar Lodge, because why the hell not?
This tennis court plays itself.
It does. Tennis. They played with tremendous zest, like two city gents who wanted hard exercise to open their pores.
What?
They shouted and laughed and stopped for drinks when a maid brought out 2 tankards on a salver. Imposters? You couldn't conceive a more innocent spectacle. I rubbed my eyes and asked myself if I was not the most immortal fool on earth. Mystery and darkness had hung about the men who hunted me over the Scotch moor in aeroplane and motor car, and notably about that infernal antiquarian. It was easy enough to connect these folk with the knife that pinned Scudder to the floor and which fell designs on the world's peace, but here were 2 guileless citizens taking their innocuous exercise and soon about to go indoors for a humdrum dinner, where they would talk of market prices and the last cricket scores. I want dinner.
I want cricket.
The thing that worried me was the reflection that my enemies knew that I had got my knowledge from Scudder, and it was Scudder who had given me the clue to this place. If they knew that Scudder had this clue, would they not be certain to change their plans? I had talked confidently last night about Germans always sticking to a scheme, but if they had any suspicions that I was on their track, they would be fools not to cover it. Fools, I say!
But why no Germans?
Because I know Germans.
Ah, but you know Germans.
Exactly. I had been making a net to catch vultures and falcons, and lo and behold, 2 plump thrushes had blundered into it.
All 2 of the nets worth something.
Right. Presently a third figure arrived, a young man on a bicycle. He was welcomed riotously by the players. Ghost time.
What? How'd you know?
You alright there, Percy?
Yes, you're looking a little
Who's blowing
hot
giant
under the
bubbles?
collar.
Yeah, they are.
I got into a proper lather. This'll bring down my weight and my handicap, Bob. I'll take you on tomorrow and give you a stroke a hole.
Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa!
They all went into the house and left me feeling a precious idiot. That's what I
His
felt.
name was Ken.
I would rather have walked into a den of anarchists, each with his own Browning handy, or faced a charging lion with a pop gun, than enter that happy home of 3 cheerful Englishmen and tell them that their game was up.
Plus, I wanted to stroke a hole.
Right? But then I remembered old Peter Pinar.
Oh,
You-
Peter Pinar.
He was the best scout I ever knew, and before he had turned respectable, he had been pretty often on the windy side of the law.
Which was an old-style way of saying he had gas a lot.
I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah.
No. Peter once discussed with me the question of disguises, and he had a theory which struck me at the time. He said barring absolute certainties like fingerprints, mere physical traits were very little use for identification if the fugitive really knew his business. The only thing that mattered was what Peter called atmosphere.
It's like atmosphere with bullets.
Exactly. These chaps didn't need to act, they just turned a handle and passed into another life, which came as naturally to them as the first. Peter used to say that it was the big secret of all the famous criminals. This recollection gave me the first real comfort I had had that day. Peter had been a wise old bird, and these fellows I was after were about the pick of the aviary.
It's the same thinking we used to go into the Middle East. I am kidding, and don't crucify me on that.
I had nothing to do with that. That came all of its own accord from my co-host, who
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. It was now getting on for 8 o'clock, and I went back and saw Scaife to give him his instructions. I arranged with him how to place his men, and then I went for a walk, for I didn't feel up to any dinner. I will gladly have his. We're gonna have dinner after this.
You hungry?
I'm starving. It took all my resolution to stroll toward Trafalgar I apparently cannot say that. Trafalgar Lodge.
Remember to like, subscribe, and comment what we should eat for dinner.
On the way, I got a piece of solid comfort from the sight of a greyhound that was swinging along at a nursemaid's heels. He reminded me of a dog I used to have in Rhodesia.
I hate him.
High tides!
High tides. The highest of tides.
Tides. This is it! This is it! We will be very excited to
Cards.
read this. Oh wait, cards.
Welcome
got
to
it.
the Tide said, hey, Ted. Why so high? And it was all like, oh, it's cool, man.
It was all like, I mean, I'm good. Everything's good. I was just talking about it. Small destroyer. Punching through the waves at 32 knots would rattle every rivet on this 300-foot-long warship, and the captain's teeth too. Aiming and firing guns in heavy seas, the deck's awash calls for nerves of steel, but that's what's expected of the guardians of our coasts.
The captain's teeth, too!
Right then.
So what was the last card? I know they were impersonating someone. No, the last one.
Oh, this one was Lord Loa.
So, him being at the end, I bet the real one's going to show up at some point.
That makes sense.
We've only got one event left. This
We do.
game is almost... I can't call it a game.
This
Gone-
air quotes
Gone Home was
game.
more of a game than this.
Air quotes game.
At least... There's a genre called visual novels. And anyone watching this, no one actually watches this, but anyone watching this that's familiar with them, like, probably bristles up at the mention of visual novel in relation to this, because visual novels at least have choices. They're basically choose your own adventures.
Oh, okay.
And this doesn't even have that.
Yeah, no, this does not have that.
Also, for some reason, I checked and we're not getting the achievements.
The
I
one
don't
that
know if-
pops up, like the one that just said that I know Germans?
That's not an achievement, that's you got the next event.
No, that wasn't an event, though.
Well,
The
they're
event
not-
here
they're
was
not-
high
they're not
tides.
showing in the Steam profile, I'm not sure why.
That's very odd.
Anyway,
See you next time at High Tide.